Hello everyone, my name is Jason, co-founder of Memo, and I've got something really exciting to share regarding an update in Memo. This changes the fundamental architecture that we are using to create amazing flashcards from resources you have. Memo is a tool we've built to convert resources such as PDFs, YouTube videos, text, audio, and live videos into flashcards, notes, and quizzes automatically using AI. Over the last year, we've been experimenting with different workflows to produce the best quality output for everyone. Agents have been one of the most exciting experimentations that we have been doing in Memo. We are excited to share a brand new agentic workflow that we are implementing directly in Memo and creating live for everyone to use. So what are agents? AI agents are like having a team of specialized experts working together. When you think of real life, let's say a hospital, it really works similar to an agent. Within a hospital, we have many different specialized doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, lab technicians, etc. It's a bunch of interdisciplinary staff working together and delivering the best patient care. This is similar to how AI agents work. Each agent is a specialized, pre-trained AI, really good at nailing one specific task. And the input and output of each agent gets passed along to other agents that are more specialized. And this is exactly what the real world is. We strongly believe some AI agentic workflow can be used in this generation process to create the best final output. This could be flashcards and notes. When you think of inputs and outputs within an agentic workflow, you could think of it like a composite function. So when you think of a composite function, each function is like a function machine. If we have a function machine like f of x, what you'll realize is that if we pass in this function, the function will produce an output. So perhaps here we have another function. Let's call it 2 of x. So we have the second function. So what's happening here is one of the agents for the function machine in number 1's output gets passed along to function number 2, and then maybe function number 3. This is really like a composite function where we have f2 of f of x. We've been experimenting with multiple function or composite function workflows using LLMs to produce the best quality outputs. Traditionally, what we've been doing over the last year is we only have one agent that processes flashcards automatically for you. When users upload a PDF, what we realize is that most PDFs are more than one page. So what we do behind the scenes is we actually chunk up your PDF into separate chunks. So here we have page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. More naturally, maybe there's more than 10, 20, 30, or even 50 pages. So during this chunking process, we also have one agent that categorizes the entire PDF into 10 topics. Now this gives the generation agent, which we'll talk about later, some holistic context of what the entire source is, because there's infinite number of PDFs there are in the world, and it is really important to grasp the concept or the contextual understanding of the entire source. The 10 topics categorization agent allows us to categorize the entire PDF into 10 separate bullet points to allow the generation agent to understand what's even going on. So with the attention mechanism, the Memo AI generation agent actually focuses into every single page linearly. So when it looks like a real human creating flashcards, like ourselves as students, we will go through every single page, and at every single page, we will understand sort of, first of all, obviously, the entire context of the lecture. So therefore, the 10 topics is passed into the Memo AI generation agent, like a real student like us creating flashcards. But also, we will go through every single PDF, and we would go through every single page to see what information can be extracted from that page and turned into active recall questions. So here, like a real student like us, Memo AI generation agent will look into every single page, and then it will create an output of these flashcards. So maybe here we are talking about cardiac physiology, and the 10 topics could range from the ECG, the electrical conductivity of the heart, the cardiac anatomy and function, etc. And this path gets created into maybe 300 flashcards here. There are several problems with this approach. Number one is that in real life, if, let's say, the ventricular anatomy and function is being taught in page 1, but also taught in page 4 maybe something to do with the bundle of His, the Memo AI generation agent did not have previous context about the ventricles. And then therefore it will actually produce, let's say, duplicate and very redundant flashcards in page 4 about the cardiac ventricles again. So this is a problem we've been having, and I see a lot of users have been having. It's creating a lot of duplicate and redundant flashcards. Some of the flashcards could be sort of merged together in a sense that each page, because the Memo AI generation agent has its attention mechanism focusing on every single page, it also loses context of adjacent pages and perhaps some flashcards. For example, if we're talking about the sinoatrial node and the atrioventricular node, maybe those two can be combined into a pathway flashcard detailing the exact electrical pathway of the heart instead of focusing on every single individual atomic concept. It's actually much better sometimes to have a flashcard that sort of lifts up the state and focuses on holistic conceptual understanding instead of detailing every single node in a pathway. So this is one of the problems. These are the two problems that our previous approach of Memo AI generation agent has. Therefore, we sort of refined this in a way that we've now added an agentic step of what we call the Memo AI checking agent. When we look at all these 300 flashcards, what we'll do is that we actually further chunk them up into separate batches. So in this case, we separate them into 100 flashcard batches from the 300 flashcards. The Memo AI checking agent would then look into every single batch and seeing, well, are some of these cards could be extracted or merged, or there are duplicate cards. Yeah? So like, let's say if there's a card about sinoatrial node and a card about atrioventricular node, can those two cards be merged into a pathway card instead of detailing each individual node? So that's what the Memo AI checking agent would be doing. Like a real human, it'll be questioning the output quality of the flashcards. This is actually a really great way to optimize the flashcards quality and output. The problem is that it will take quite a long time because there are a lot of flashcards to go through and check. Just like a real human, it'll take several minutes to look into. So we've actually made a sort of a different approach. Instead of doing this linearly, the Memo AI checking agent would do this in parallel. We would deploy 3 agents, and these 3 would then check these 3 batches consecutively in parallel. So this here is to optimize the speed. You will get your flashcards in probably less than 5 minutes instead of waiting an hour. These batches then gets passed into the Memo AI refinement agents, the merge agents, and the removal agents. The checking agent will produce instructions or criticism of what cards can be merged, what cards can be refined, what cards can be removed. For example, we've seen, like, for example, flashcards where the generation would produce that think it's useful. Let's say, who is this lecture taught by? But no way will we be tested on that in exam, like recalling the specific lecture or the professor's name about that lecture. That's not needed. So what's happening here is that it will get these flashcards to be passed to the removal agent, the merge agent, and refinement agent. So in that case, about that question, asking who the professor is, it will be removed by the removal agent. Questions about very similar flashcards about very similar concepts or topics will be merged by the merge agent, and questions that could be optimized or improved will be passed along to the refinement agent. And what we will have finally is our final output of, let's say, 25 cards that are actually useful. Our goal is to reduce your time creating flashcards manually. With our previous approach, people have been spending more time looking at the flashcards and deleting unnecessary ones. Here, we're also automating that entire process for you. When you upload a deck, for example, here I have a deck about genetic engineering and about AP biology. You can see that we have refined our models. So the standard recommended model here is scientifically backed with questions and answered. The previous standard model is now moved to a detailed model where it really drills into specific details using the minimal information principle. But actually, I recommend the standard model here now because the standard model actually sort of promotes more holistic second order learning instead of drilling into every single tiny detail. But the option is there now if you guys would like that. Under advanced options, you can see that we've replaced a number of cards into a new option called Enable AI Agent. So this is the AI agent workflow that I've been talking about, where it will be used to clean up, merge, and remove duplicate cards during the generation process. So if you would like to revert back to how we do it, simply turn off this toggle and you'll have what the previous generation process looks like. You could also override this default setting, so it applies to every single deck in the settings menu. When you press next, you'll see that we have this standard topic generation agent that will categorize the entire deck into 10 topics. And in the generation screen now, you can see this agentic workflow directly. You can see step 1 is where our generation agent creates a card, looks through every single chunk, and creates flashcards. And step 2, this is where the bulk of the processing happens, where we pass it to multiple agents, the merge agent, removal agent, the refinement agent, to clean up the entire cards, as well as all the stuff I've been talking about. So this here is actually taking up bulk majority of the time. Usually it takes around 1 to 2 minutes, but here, as you can see, we have 10 pages, so it's already been done as I'm speaking. And that's great. So here is the final output of the flashcards. And now, even in creation order, it's now sorted by page number. You can see page by page where these flashcards came from and look back at the source, like how it's transferred into flashcards and active recall questions for you. You'll notice that the number of cards have been significantly reduced, but to a really high quality level. Previously, something like this may have generated 100 to 200 cards. I think it's not really worth the time reviewing so many in-detail niche cards overall, but it's more important for overall conceptual understanding of cards. If you like the previous style of flashcards, you could always turn it off in settings. You'll notice that these cards here are more detailed and more holistic. It's been working really well for us in terms for our studying here in med school as well, and I look forward to everyone using it. Please do leave us some feedback regarding the new agentic workflow that we have. I look forward to those feedback to help improve Memo AI in the future for everyone. Thank you.